Master horse racing with daily racing fields Formulator, now free for DRF Bets members. Sign up to get the best bonus in racing with a $250 deposit match, plus a $10 free bet and free Formulator past performances. Go to drf.com/bet to play like a pro today.
Dan Illman might be a race number 10 at Belmont Park on Belmont Stakes Saturday is one of our favorite races of the year. It's the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap. We're going a one-turn mile. It's a perfect combination of speed and stamina and class every year. And this year, it's really no different. We've got Cody's Wishes, the 7-5 morning line favorite. We'll talk about him in a second, but I would be remiss if I did not mention the DRF Belmont Stakes packages, players packages, up to 46% off the retail price. And all you got to do to access this and win big is go to shop.drf.com. Here's the field for the Metropolitan Handicap. It's all about Cody's Wish, Mike. He's won 5 in a row. He looked real good last time at Churchill.
Yeah, he really did. He didn't even really have a big pace in front of him there, Dan, but he made a huge run from out of it. He won for fun. He's going to look for a 4th consecutive Grade 1 here in the Met Mile. He's way the horse to beat.
He's a horse that likes to come from off the pace. He's breaking from the inside post. There aren't really any burners in this race. Does the pace scenario or potential pace scenario worry you?
No, because I actually feel like there's a chance this pace gets pretty fast, Dan. We'll see how it all plays out. Some horses are going to have to go in here, but you have some horses stretching out and some fast ones at that. I think he's going to have plenty of pace to run it.
Timeform US believes the pace will be fast. You note that red bar scenario. They got the 3 expected to make the early lead. Let's talk about Cody's Wish. His last race was very, very good at Churchill Downs. Most of his races have been very, very good. In the race at Churchill, he just saved ground. Junior Alvarado got him to the outside, and he basically inhaled that field from the 5/16 pole to the wire.
I mean, you had to be happy if you're Bill Mott connection. You got to be happy with what he did there. Again, I didn't even feel like that pace was that fast, but he just sat back. He was way too good for those horses. His Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, a very strong performance. His Grade 1 Forgo at Saratoga going 7 last year, a very strong performance. He's just really good, Dan.
6 for 6 going a mile in his career is Cody's Wish, and he enters this year's Met Mile as the horse to beat. He beat Slow Down Andy last time out in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Slow Down Andy is a very underrated horse. He ran a good 3rd in the Awesome again behind Defunded. I like that they cut him back in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and he ran just fine in that race, a race that's produced 4 next out winners. He's good on turf, he's good on dirt. Do you think he's going to be at his best going a one-turn mile?
Yeah, I have no problem with the one-turn mile for this horse. I actually feel like it could really work out for him. And he did end that 3-year-old campaign with probably the best race of his life. He is supposed to get better as an older horse, but he is off of a layoff here, Dan, and it's not going to be easy.
I'm a very big fan of the number 3, Dr. Scheibel. This is a horse who took one of the worst beats in Breeders' Cup history in the sprint back in 2021, where he did all that work and he got nailed on the wire by Aloha West. And it's just a shame that he's had his share of physical issues throughout his career, but he came back raring to go off a lengthy layoff last time out. It was only an allowance race, and it was only against 2 other horses, but he ran fast, and it looks like he's back, and he's going to make the lead. Is a mile too far?
Yeah, that's interesting to see. I mean, I don't want to say it's going to be too far for him, but it's obviously, it has to be a question, especially when he missed all that time. He did come back and look really good winning last time, Dan, and it came back fast. There was really nothing happening in there, though. Only 2 horses in there with him that could not keep him from the lead. It was never in doubt.
Hoist the Gold ran second to Cody's Wish in the Churchill Downs Stakes last time out. He ran just fine that day. He was up close to the pace. He was no match for Cody. He held second. This is a horse that doesn't win very often, but he's earned some Grade 1 placings, and he's pretty honest, and he's got some tactical speed, and I like him at a mile.
Yeah, and his last 2 races are both pretty good. He didn't win either of them, but he ran pretty well both times. He's pretty hard to make a case for in here, Dan, unless you guys feel like he's really going to jump up over the mile, because based on what he's done so far, he's probably not good enough.
What do you do with Charge It? There are times when this horse looks absolutely brilliant, as he did the one and only time he ran a one-turn mile here at Belmont. He won the Dwyer by 23 lengths that day with a 1:11 Beyer speed figure. Since then, he's gone from okay to to...
That's true. I mean, I guess when you're asking what do you do with him, you wait and see what kind of price he is. And if he's a good price, maybe you just want to stay positive on him and think getting back to Belmont Park, where he's got that one superior performance, is all it's going to take. Because if he runs that Dwyer, he's going to be a handful in here. I hate his last 2 races, but I wouldn't be surprised if he rebounded here.
I think he's a very dangerous horse in this race. I think the one-turn mile is exactly what he wants to do. And last time out at Oaklawn, okay, he didn't run very well that day. I have a feeling he's going to rebound with one of his better performances. Zandon is up next, did some good things as a 3-year-old for Chad Brown. Won the Bluegrass, 3rd in the Derby, 2nd in the Jim Dandy, 3rd in the Travers, 2nd in the Pennsylvania Derby. I think the Cigar Mile was one race too much for the Chad Brown trainee last year, and he was tailing off for him. What did you make of his first start off of the layoff? He ran into Repo Rocks, who freaked.
I mean, I thought he ran fine in there. I mean, his trip overall was a good one. Repo Rocks was always in front of him, though. Repo Rocks was not stopping through the stretch, and Zandon didn't really have any chance to catch him. He ran fine, but you know, you're asking me what I thought about it. I just thought he was fine as a 3-year-old. I didn't think he was any great shakes. I do get that maybe these one-turn miles are ultimately what he's really going to be about, and I'm open to that suggestion. He's another. I will just wait to see what kind of price he is. I don't want a short price on him, but he could win this race.
I agree with you that the one-turn mile is what he wants, and I really do believe that his last race, Chad was using it as a true prep. And I think he's going to come into this race on Saturday ready to fire. The pace is going to be solid. I think you'll hear from Zandon, along with Charge It, at pretty decent prices. Repo Rocks last time out, boy. He just ran a 109 Beyer speed figure in beating Zandon. We're watching that race in the Westchester. And if you think this race is a fluke, just go back 4 starts when he won the Toboggan with a 111 Beyer speed figure. So we know he has monster races in him. It's just that we've seen Repo Rocks for life. And why do I still not believe it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's time. I think it's just time to get over that kind of stuff. And, you know, I thought the Toboggan was the fluke when he ran the 111. He came right back to win the Stymie, and then he runs that race that we just watched in the Westchester, another fast one. He had that race taken over past the 5/16 pole, and he never stopped through the stretch. This horse is really good right now.
Loves a one-turn mile, love this outside post position, think he's going to be sitting in a prime stalking position when they hit the sweeping turn here at Belmont. Doppelganger won the Grade 1 for Brittany Russell, Avion Toledo last time out. It's the Carter Handicap. It was not a fast race. Doppelganger was a pretty big price, but he pulled it off. I think he kind of caught the right field that day.
Yeah.
He's going to need a setup, but he's run some decent races in the past.
He did beat Repo Rocks last time in that Carter. More than anything else, it kind of felt like, first of all, it wasn't the strongest Carter in the world, but it kind of felt like it was pace-aided. I mean, they were going a strong pace early in there. This horse sat back last and got it done as the longest shot on the board. He's hard to like in here.
White Abarrio won the Florida Derby last year. He was on the Kentucky Derby Trail. He knocked heads with some big names, and he ran a good 3rd in the Cigar Mile. I think they figured out what he wants to do, and that's he's a one-turn miler. He's a 7/8 horse, maybe a mile and a 16th. Here's his last race at Gulfstream. They dropped him into an allowance. He faced some solid allowance horses. He beat them on the square. He was entered, I believe, in the Carter and had to scratch with a little bit of an issue, and now he's with Rick Dutrow.
Yeah, trainer changes. They were also, I believe, they were going to run him. Weren't they going to run him at
Churchill
Downs
yes.
Derby weekend? And they weren't allowed to do that either. So it's a little bit of a layoff here. But your other point's well taken. It feels like these shorter one-turn races, this is what he really wants. They were forced to go longer with him as a 3-year-old because he kept running well. But as an older horse, they're going to be able to run him in races like this. And I think this is what he wants to do.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Met Mile. You can go so many different ways. Cody's Wish seems like an obvious contender. You've got the speed of Dr. Scheibel. You've got horses with big Beyer speed figures like Charge It and Repo Rocks. You've got Zandon second off the layoff with some class lines. Where are you heading?
I'm not betting against Cody's Wish here. I just think this is the right spot for him. And he's going to be a short price, I get it, but to me, he should be a short price here. This horse is really good. I put White Abarrio second, and I have Charge It in there. Yeah. I just want to wait and see what kind of price
I do have a lot of respect for Charge It and Zandon in this race, even though Charge It has not run well in his last 2. I just have a feeling he's going to bounce back to his best performance. But like you, I don't want to bet against Cody's Wish, and I'd like for him to put on a show in the prestigious Met Mile.